So this is how I created this reverse spiral model, and the reverse spiral model is shifting the balance of power to empower the people at the community level through the sport. So the Surfing Association Papua New Guinea, we now have 10 clubs and 17 corporate members, Papua New Guinea and overseas. And the local people join the club through the sport, and then they become partners to the surf tourism. So I had to educate the people how we're going to develop this surfing resource and charge a levy, a reef tax. So when you people come here, you're paying a reef tax. That reef tax goes down to the local community. So all around the country, I had to educate people that in order to develop this resource and bring tourists to come to our country and enjoy the wave, we have to create a unique situation here. So surfers around the world don't want to go to a crowded place. Plenty surfers, no good. Too many surfers in Bali, Tahiti, Hawaii, too crowded. Problems, they fight. Okay, so in order to eliminate this crowding problem, we had to develop in such a way that the surfers come, but the quota system, what we call a quota system, we limit the numbers. Within this management plan, we've created a management plan, and we have an agreement with the landowners who own the reef. From Sakula, Patakai, Rurunat, Simbini, Medebur, Tupira, Torvalde, everybody within this area, they form the management plan. So Surfing Association with Tupira Surf Club, we negotiate with the landowners, local people, and we say when the tourists come, they want to go and surf your break. In lieu of them surfing your break, we're going to charge them reef tax. When that money comes, it's going to be spread evenly amongst all the different breaks, the community. But for you as surfers, we are marketing this product so that there's only 20 people maximum within this management plan, no more. PNG, we don't have infrastructure for 500 people or 1,000 people to come surfing here. No. Why would you people come all the way from Japan if you're surfing like I've seen at Chiba and at Shonan? Too many surfers. Why would you come all the way, come here, very expensive airfare, and have 500 people surfing at Tupira? It's no good. You go home and never come back again. Too crowded. So we had to create a model where limited numbers, but in order for you to enjoy that, we have to charge a fee so that the landowners too, the community, benefit without spoiling their culture, their way of life, their tradition. They still preserve it, and you can come here and experience uncrowded waves and experience the culture and way of life of the people without destroying it. You still preserve culture, and at the same time the village people can still in the off season go and do their fishing, diving, and we destroy nothing. Everything is preserved. It's a win-win for all. You see what I'm saying? You win because there's no crowds. The local people win because they're getting money for their resource. And the same token, we're helping them to preserve their culture without... You see all the... this before was a logging site run by a Malaysian company. This was all jungle before. Big trees. The Malaysians came, cut everything down. They took all the timber, they're gone, and left nothing. That's why if you look at the metal, the jinka, the big truck wheels and things there, that's from Malaysian logging. Devastation. So we have to educate the people. Educate them to realize that the surf is a resource that we have to develop in a sustainable way. So when we are dead and gone and we're 6 foot in the ground, the future generation of kids can benefit from this resource. So this whole evolution of this model, the reverse spiral model, has taken 24 years, nearly quarter of a century to develop and fine-tune, to educate the people, educate our government. It's now taken me onto government boards now, And the work I'm doing is influencing government policy. It's influencing universities in the US and Australia, and now countries like Mentawais, Fiji, Samoa, and that now adopting this model now to help their countries, because they've got a situation where, as the saying goes, they got the cart before the horse. Everything is back to front. Now they're looking at Papua New Guinea model and going, this is exactly what we want. But how do you go to Bali and turn everything around? It's too complicated. That is becoming the focus of, in 2004, the World Bank funded our Surfing Association strategic master plan, and that's the master plan now, roadmap for the next 20 years. And we're now taking the next step. We're the first surfing body in the world to work towards enacting our own Act of Parliament, our laws through Parliament, to have rules that will govern how to manage and develop and promote our surf by law. These universities, like I said, 3 universities in America and 1 in Australia, are now looking at this model now. So from the humble beginnings when I started school in Australia to coming back when I was 19 years old and starting this whole concept, many of my surfing friends in Port Moresby, Australian surfers, thought I was stupid, because no one had ever heard of this whole idea. And even my Papua New Guinea friends, the political leaders of the country couldn't understand this concept of creating a model to empower our people, because people were driven by greed, money. People are not thinking, they just want money, 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 money. Who cares about the local people? But if you think carefully, 97% of the land of Papua New Guinea is owned by the people. They own that surf, this resource. They own everything under the ground, right, is owned by the state. But everything above the ground, the surf, the trees and everything, is owned by the people. So when people come and develop Papua New Guinea for tourism or mining or petroleum or whatever, they come in, money, money, put it, let's develop it, big building, everything. But they forget about the most important people, and that's the people. They forget about them. And when they develop everything, local people pick up the gun. See you later. Because they didn't think about incorporating the local people into the equation to think, to plan, to develop, to manage. And they're the most important people in the equation, and that's why I always say, if we're developing the surfing resource, we must include the local community directly in the sport, so all the little kids go surfing, and the elder people of the village community participate in the monetary benefit and other benefits, the spin-off benefits that come from this development. If you don't do it, they come here and say, thank you very much, your friends, get out. But we've been very successful for 24 years. And you heard of the Kokoda track? The Kokoda track, very famous. 1,000 Australian tourists walk the Kokoda track every year. That trekking is worth 25 million kina, or 10 million US dollars every year to the local economy. Trekking. But the problem is, that track is 96 kilometers long. But when these people were developing this resource, they didn't think about the most important people, and that's the people who own that track all the way along. So, between me and you down there, we are all, just imagine, this is 96 kilometers from me to you. Or from me to you, Cha, down there. 96 kilometers. And all of us own this track. The problem is, Kokoda track has had so many problems, open shut of the track, because any one of us, because we're not happy, Takashi come in the middle with gun and say, track is closed. Gun, go home. If you look at this track, it takes one man to stop in the middle of the road and say, Cha, go home. Kono, go home. One man, stay in the middle. But for surfing, the door is open for us to do, because before we go and bring surfers to come to this Tupira, it took 2 years of negotiation to sit down, talk to community, introduce the sport, educate them to realize that this is a resource that we can develop properly based on this model of empowering the people. All the power start here, and we come up, government here, people here, we come meet them halfway. And we tell them, this is our resource, you want to work here, you do it on our policy. To Vanimo, you go to Wewak, no big high-rise buildings, no hotels like in Hawaii and Waikiki. Everything is eco-friendly, low impact, owned and operated for the people. So the money from tourists go to the people. The levies from the reef tax, it bypasses the politicians, it bypasses the bureaucrats in government, so politicians don't get the money. It comes from surfing associations straight to the people. Even the tax man can't touch it, because the amount of money that's coming in is below the minimum threshold, and they can't tax it. They can't touch us. So I've engineered it in such a way that not even the tax man can touch it. The money just comes straight from Australia to Japan, from you, straight to us, straight to the people. Bang. People can go and do their projects. The influence of surfing after 25 years now is we're influencing the minds of the people, people within the region, even the world now. People looking to Papua New Guinea of how we've developed this here. And my job now has gone from being a surfer to now developing policy to help steer my country in the right direction to empower our people. And I believe that when I'm gone, when I'm dead, I hope that the legacy that's left behind for future generations will be sustainable, will be equitable, and our people will live in peace and harmony and develop this resource without digging holes and making problems socially for our people. We don't want to be like Bali. We don't want to be like these other countries where mass tourism, because yes, plenty money coming in for tourists, but there's a social side to it. Drinking, drugs, prostitution. True, we know these problems. We don't want that for Papua New Guinea. Problems, prostitution, drugs, everything, all we say no, and we develop it properly so you people come here, no crowds. You pay a premium, money goes straight to the people. And I think that's the way of the future, because surfers around the world are looking for uncrowded waves where they come here and they've only got limited number of surfers, that's it. That is sustainability, and I believe this is the way of the future. And all those expatriate, those Aussie surfers 20 years ago who said to me, Andy, what are you talking about? Now are realizing the fruit of this work is now bearing. The fruit has grown into a tree and is now bearing fruit. The benefits are now coming. But it took, when I was talking about this when I was 19, I was talking 20, 30 years ahead. People didn't see that. They didn't see the vision I was talking about. But it's 24 years now and it's fruit. This is it. I'm living now, living the dream now. It's happening.